So welcome ladies and gentlemen. So today we're looking at something a little bit different outside of sort of PES and FIFA. I got an email the other day from a Darren Clark who said he just started following my channel, so thank you very much for doing that. He's obviously seen Rush Football 2, and I've seen this before as well. And he was saying, looking at the player's natural fluid motion on and off the ball, it's very realistic. Do you think PES will eventually resemble this in terms of pace? Well, let's talk about that today, shall we? Let's discuss what I think about this game. And trust me, I've read the comments in different videos of watching this. And first of all, I mean, they could use, elements from different games, right? There's no reason why the likes of EA or Konami can't look at other football games, whether they be betting games or not, whether they be played by, inputs or not. They really should look at other games, because the beginning here with players sort of walking forward, it's not a bad little animation. I know that Rush Football doesn't have the licenses and that, so that's why there's no crest, there's no badges, and these players kind of look like bodybuilders. They're not the best player models, but this is certainly something you could incorporate into the game in the future. But for those that don't know, Rush Football 2 is a betting game. Okay, so as you can see, match betting, there's the odds, different team scorecasts, half-time, full-time, and then a timer that ticks down to the match. And I've got this, and then there's another video. I'll leave the link to the other one, actually, because I quite like the commentary. I can't remember who does it. I don't know if it's John Motson or someone, but it's someone that I know and people know very well. The commentary is actually pretty good in this game. Now, the thing about Rush Football 2 is it's more predetermined, isn't it? It's CGI. It's all about just running through a bunch of animations and snippets of highlights. So there's no actual input done by the people or players themselves, which is why you can make the game look the way it looks. So let's just fast forward this, crank up to the timer. So here's the players coming out. This is something that Konami could add. A different sort of presentation before a match, players shaking the referee's hands, players on the side all having a bit of a conversation. Even a coin toss. I don't know if they do that anymore, but I remember the days back in ISS where you could do that, and it was just, something different. So anyway, the match gets underway. First thing you notice as well is, players are sort of not all in the same positions. You've actually got a player within the circle at kickoff, which is perfectly fine. And I don't think Konami or PES or FIFA you can do that. I think they all stand on the edge of the circle. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know now you can do one-player kickoffs and two-player kickoffs, but this is an option to have that as well. But let's just actually have a look at the gameplay and talk about it. And it would help if I crank this up to full speed. So here it is. This is the gameplay. This is the movement of the players, and you notice it is quite fluid. The way they touch the ball, the way players make the runs. They lay it off, they shoot, and everything else. I mean, the problem with this, putting this into an actual input football game, is people complain right now how sort of unresponsive PES is and stuff like that. And to get to this level of sort of pace and realism, I mean, here by the goalie, it's an unusual sort of right-handed save. But you'd have to make it sort of even more unresponsive because, I mean, you can have a touch like that, but if he lays this out wide, if we were to slow this right down, right? If you were playing this right now with a controller, you would touch this to the inside, okay? Then you'd lay it off. You take a touch, he lays it back, and you press shoot, right? And he flicks it in. Now, I mean, you're looking at the goalie there. I don't know what on earth he's doing, because his arm actually got pulled away. So that was already predetermined that the ball was going to go in the net. You watch it again with the outside of the boot. Interesting technique. Just flicks it. But the goalie's initially, watch his hand, is going to save it there. I mean, if his arm was full stretch, he would save it. But as you can see, he just sort of stops. He gives up because it's a predetermined goal. Okay, so that's the way that works. But if you're playing this with a controller, it has to be sort of instantaneous. And the problem with a game like this, and people look at it and they go, wow, this looks amazing. I wish PES was like this. I wish FIFA was like this. If you want a responsive game, you just can't have it looking like this or playing like this. It's just not possible, because when you press left, you want the player to move the ball to the left. When you press right, you want him to move it to the right. When you watch something like this, it's all very slow. It's not super responsive because it looks more natural. And that's why it's difficult for Konami, it's difficult for EA to get that level of quality. Apologies there, I had to answer the door. My Chinese arrived. But yeah, as I was saying, you can't get this level of speed and everything else without sacrificing a couple of things. You know, I mean, the animations are nice, don't get me wrong. You know, even something like that could be incorporated. You know, the way he slots this in and then sort of falls straight into a sliding celebration is kind of a cool little thing to add. You know, there are snippets, okay, I'm not going to lie. There are snippets of stuff that Konami and EA could use to make the game feel a little bit natural. But when it comes to actually playing like this, it's not possible because, as I keep stating, the input would be so slow, it'll be even more unresponsive than we have now, and people complain about that. So let's actually have a look at another clip showing a bunch of gameplay. It's not the best quality, but it's quite good to look at. So yeah, here's just a little bit more gameplay to have a look at, feast your eyes on. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Do you really think this could become a reality in the future? Yeah, without sacrificing that input response. I think that's the main thing. You can have the animation, sure, and those will get better in time. The engine we have now on PES and FIFA, that's the thing. We're limited. They are now officially maxing out the capabilities of the Fox engine and the Frostbite engine, whatever else they're using. Something else needs to come out, and that's why it's become stale, and people are like, it's the same thing every year now. It is, because there's only so much you can do with a certain engine. Obviously, they've got their own engine for this game, where they can have a little bit more of a fluid animation, but then again, it's not input, related. It's all just CGI type predetermined football. But once EA release a new engine with, you would say, 360 dribbling, new movements, new redefined physics, then we're going to start see newer things like this. But having this type of gameplay here, I mean, how boring would it be to play football like this? You know what I mean? I mean, no one would enjoy it because it is far too slow for an actual football game. Because at the end of the day, a video game is a video game. It has to be exciting and fun. You want simulation, but you don't want to bore yourself to death. And if players were not making runs like this, you'd probably be wondering, well, what on earth are they doing? So I don't know, yeah, I just feel like, yes, this is great to look at, and if it's a sporting gambling game, yeah, it's fun to watch and see who wins, but when it comes to playing this, no, there's no hope in the world, or right now anyway, of getting like this, because I keep saying it would annoy people, and we just wouldn't want it. But there are things they can certainly use in the future, without question. I mean, let me know your thoughts below. Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible for EA and Konami to get to this level, at some point in time? We do need a new engine. I think that is a guarantee. When will that come out? I mean, it has to come out in the next iteration of PES and FIFA on the next console. When we see a PS5 and a new Xbox. PC, not really a big deal. Yes, you will need a better PC, and that's probably the problem you're going to have. You're going to need a really good graphics card, CPU, processing power, and all that to be able to run a really high quality football game with a totally new physics system, redefined graphics, better dribbling. These are all things that in the future Konami and EA are going to have to sort out because it is becoming stagnant. But, time will tell. Time will tell. Anyway, that's just sort of my little talk about Rush Football 2. It looks interesting, don't get me wrong, but I don't think this is a reality. And, PES 2020, when you start polishing up the animations, does get a little bit quicker than sort of pre-release, so people might think it's too fast. If you think that's too fast and unresponsive, just imagine trying to play a game like this. It'll be rather difficult. And the reason why FIFA is a faster game than PES is for the fact that it is more responsive. The more responsive the game, the faster it's going to be. Like if you press left, 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 and he takes left, left, left of a touch, then yes, of course it's going to be quicker. And that's why FIFA's a quicker game than PES. PES players take a little bit more time to get it down. They take a little bit longer to do inputs. And that's pretty much what it's down to. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts below as always. And we will continue dishing out the content. If you've got anything you want to discuss or want me to dissect, hit up my email, officialtruebrits@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to see what I can do. But until next time, hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. Of course, hit that notification bell every single time so you get the latest upload. And until next time, guys, take care.
Crossfield ball just about found its target. Now what can they cook up here? He feinted for the shot, he passed, and he scores!